Hi guys, there's been some interesting details about the Galaxy S23 that's to be released next year. We know the codename of the device and some information about the processors and how powerful they're gonna be. But before we get into it, definitely subscribe and hit the bell icon if you haven't to get daily tech updates, and drop a like if you enjoyed the video. So despite the shortcomings and performance disappointment of the Exynos 2200, Samsung is still working on the next generation Exynos flagship chipset, the Exynos 2300, and it's gonna go up against Qualcomm's next flagship chipset, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. And just like the similarities between the Exynos 2200 and the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, the 8 Gen 2 and Exynos 2200 will also use the same cores and core configuration. So the prime core is gonna be the ARM Cortex X3 on both chipsets. But there's an issue with the performance. Just like the X2 that consumed a lot of power and provided very little performance improvement over the Cortex X1, the Cortex X3 is also gonna consume more power than the already power-hungry Cortex X2 and provide very little performance improvements. Early sample testing shows the Cortex X3 running at 3 GHz consumes 10% more power than the Cortex X2. And this was tested on both Samsung's and TSMC's 4nm fabrication process, although some adjustments are being made by the companies. But if this is what we get as the final product, then the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, the Exynos 2300 and the Dimensity 10000 are all gonna be hot and power-hungry chipsets. Now, although the improvement in the CPU department is quite small, the X3 has a significant improvement in its AI performance, up to 100% performance improvement over the Cortex X2. Now, while that sounds good, I'll definitely prefer to have that improvement in the CPU performance than artificial intelligence. But the good thing is, the better the AI performance, the less strain is put on the chipset. So there's hope for really good performance on the S23 series and next generation flagships. Now, speaking of the S23, we have the codename for the devices. The internal codename for the S23 is Project Diamond. Now, while this doesn't give us any specific details about the devices, it tells us that Samsung is working on something impressive that we're gonna love. Anyway, we're gonna get more information about the S23 series and I'll be sure to cover it. So definitely subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss it. And be sure to drop a like if you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching guys. See you in the next one.